A family in California is engaged in a lawsuit with a school board alleging their son has been discriminated against due to the results of a DNA test. A test at birth found that sixth grader Coleman Chatham carries the genetic marker for cystic fibrosis, but has not been diagnosed with the disease. His parents allege that a teacher made this news public to the parents of students with the condition at his school. They also allege that the school board transferred their son in response to complaints. Now, their lawsuit says the board's actions violate the Americans with Disabilities Act. Now, for more on this case, we're joined by Coleman's family attorney, Stephen Jaffe. He is an employment lawyer in San Francisco. How is it possible that you end up in court over this?
Hello. We're in court over this. There were actually two lawsuits. The first one was to prevent the school from doing the transfer. That lawsuit was ultimately successful, and Coleman was returned to the school. The second lawsuit, which is still currently pending, is for damages for Coleman have his privacy violated, and for having been discriminated solely on account of the genetic markers. And it seeks damages for the attorney's fees and the public humiliation and everything that Coleman went through during this time, back when he was 11 years old.
Now, what did the school board say to the family about what their position was and why they took that?
The school board's position is that when they became aware of these genetic markers, that they were informed by a doctor, which turned out to not be the case scientifically or medically, but they at the time believed that Coleman's possession of these genetic markers posed a medical risk to two other students who were at the school who have active cystic fibrosis. And they decided that the way to protect those other two students was to remove Coleman. That was their defense.
You must have been wondering why on earth they made that argument. I mean, he was ultimately let back into the school.
Yes, I think it took about 2 or 3 weeks for the, what I like to say, the light bulb to go on in the school, and to figure out that maybe there was no science behind what they were doing. So they let him back into the school. That is correct.
The federal government has taken an interest in this case. What does that mean for some of the arguments that you've been making in court?
Well, I mean, the short answer is it's very good news. Let me explain the American with Disabilities Act. That is a law that a lot of people are familiar with. But what most people don't know is that the ADA protects not only people who are actually disabled, but it also protects people who are, and these are the magic words, perceived or regarded as disabled, even if they're not. So what we are arguing in this case is that Coleman was in that category. He was perceived or regarded as disabled, and therefore is protected and covered by the ADA. That's the legal issue in the case.
Attorney Stephen Jaffe in San Francisco, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.